Hi guys, this is Dr. D back again with the second part of the heart and blood vessel model picture explanation for the lab. Once again, a quick reminder, when you're studying for lab, you're also studying for what? Lecture, of course, and vice versa. All right. So here is the basic distribution of the blood vessels. And once you study this, you will be able to look at the heart model. All right, the model of the blood vessels. Okay, so a quick explanation, a quick rundown. Here's the aortic arch, and from the aortic arch, you should see the three blood vessels going up, right? But in this, what is obviously that you can see is the carotid. The carotid is the one which is the left and the right common carotid going to the left and right side of the head and neck. All right. And here, remember the left common carotid, and here's the subclavian, right? So the subclavian, which is the left subclavian, which is below the clavicle, and here it becomes what? Axillary. And from the axillary, it becomes what? Brachial. And from the brachial, it becomes the radial and the ulnar. Radial and ulnar goes into the deep palmar arch and the digital arteries. Come back, digital vein into the deep palmar arch again. The radial vein on this side and the what? The ulnar vein on this side joins to form the brachial vein. Come back, axillary vein, subclavian vein, joins the jugular. Remember, carotid went up, but from the head and neck, blood comes back via the jugular vein and joins the jugular vein to form the brachiocephalic vein. So this is left brachiocephalic, this is the right brachiocephalic, joins to form what? Superior vena cava, drains into the right atrium. All right, aortic arch went down, right? Below the diaphragm, it'll form the what? It'll form the abdominal aorta, comes down, splits into the iliac, common iliac. And the iliac splits into the internal. You see the small branch? This is the internal iliac and the external iliac. The external iliac goes into what? Femoral. Behind the knee will be popliteal artery. In front of the leg will be what? The anterior tibial, and behind towards the back of your leg will be the posterior tibial, and goes down here to form also the digital arteries. Come back, digital vein, anterior or posterior tibial, then is the what? Popliteal vein. Go back the same way, the femoral vein. Femoral vein will join and form the external what? External iliac vein. External iliac vein will join the internal iliac vein and drain into the what? Common iliac vein and drain into the inferior vena cava, right? Inferior vena cava comes and drains into the right atrium. All right. So here, once you study this, remember, it's the same thing repeated over and over again. So here is the heart model, the body blood vessel model that we have in the lab. And when you study one, you study the others. It's simple as that. So you should be able to label these, okay? And if there are any questions, remember, I'm always available. You can always ask me. So what did I do? It's the same repetition. It's just not a different model. I just took a closer picture of the head region and labeled it for you. Do you see what I'm saying? Again, same thing I'm repeating. Aortic arch, you'll be sick and tired of me. Brachiocephalic artery, right? What is this? Common carotid artery. What's this one? This is the subclavian artery. The subclavian artery will go up also, right? It will split into the what? Into the left common carotid, and this will continue as the axillary artery into the arm, brachial, etc. Right? We just went over it. But coming back, you have the jugular. Now, notice that whenever there is a common carotid, where simple common sense is, if it goes on the inside, this will be what? This will be the internal carotid, and this will be what? The external carotid, right? And here will be the internal, because it goes on the inside of the head. This will go towards the outside of the head. Coming back, you're going to come back by the jugular. So going up, carotid, coming back, jugular. We just talked about this. All right, so here when this jugular is coming down, is joining the subclavian vein to form the brachiocephalic vein. So going up, there was only one brachiocephalic artery, not left and right. But coming back, there'll be two brachiocephalic veins. This will be the left, this will be the right. Superior vena cava, right atrium, right? And here you can see the inferior vena cava, which I'll show you better in the other pictures, right? You see, same model picture, I just took a closer picture so you can see it better. Here is you can see external carotid, internal carotid, same thing repeated. All right. Now, vertebral artery is something that you can look at. Not my very big favorite, but of course, the others that I've gone over are absolutely a requirement. Now, obviously, from the abdominal aorta, if it's going into the kidneys, this will be what? It will be the renal artery. Yeah, and you can see also the common iliac. Remember, I talked about the internal iliac. Here is the internal iliac. So because this is on the left side of the body, so this will be the left common iliac artery, and this will be the left internal iliac artery. Got it? Okay, so here again, this is a brighter, better picture, and same thing repeated, okay, for you. Now here is a review, and I said answer 1, 2, 4, 6, and 7. Don't answer 3 for now, and don't answer 5 for now. Okay, for later in higher classes you'll have to know these two, but for now you don't have to answer these. All right, and if you have questions, ask me. So what I did was I took a closer picture, so you can label, you can test yourself and be able to answer all these that are not marked, but you still should be able to recognize. Okay. All right, now I took a picture of the lower part of the model, all right, which is again repeated. Now here you should be able to see, of course, what? The inferior vena cava, right? Now the one that's going to the spleen is the splenic artery, and here's the abdominal aorta. All right. Now see here where the splenic artery is coming out. Do you see this? This is actually the celiac trunk. From the celiac trunk, 3 branches come out. We studied that, yes? So one goes into the what? Into the liver. One goes into the spleen, and one goes into the stomach. So this origin is the celiac trunk. All right, so here we see the inferior mesenteric, and here's the superior mesenteric. And you can see what? You can see the iliac. This was the, what did we say? This was the internal iliac, right? And what did we say this was? External iliac. And going down into the legs as what? Femoral artery. All right, same thing repeated over and over again. Now here, remember, we had talked about it, the previous femoral comes to the back of the knee, forms what? Popliteal, right? And popliteal will split into 2. So here is the posterior tibial, and here is the anterior tibial. So I went ahead and labeled this one for you. If there are questions, here I said this was the palmar arch. So in case you missed me in the previous slides, and like I told you, this is the posterior, the popliteal artery, right popliteal artery, and when it's going up, it will be the the left popliteal vein. Of course, the vein is not marked in here. All right. So the anterior tibial artery and the tibial, anterior tibial artery and the posterior tibial artery. You can see the anterior and the posterior tibial artery. Okay. So here is a review. You should be able to label these, and if there are questions, you can always ask me. All right. So I think with this we come to the end, and if there are questions or concerns, please reach out to me. All right. Thank you. Have a great day.